Read Numbers, the 12th chapter.
Numbers 12 and 10.
Come on.
And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle.
Right, go ahead.
And behold, Miriam became leprous.
So now Miriam is Moses' sister. She's also a Jew. She's a female Jew, a female Israelite. All right, we just proved through 2 scriptures Moses was a man of color. Let's find out what happened here. Read.
White as snow.
So she turned leprous and became white as snow, meaning absence of color. So now if she turned to be white, what did she have to be before? A brown-skinned sister, right? Proving once again the real Jews, and she was a Jew, an Israelite, proving once again the real Jews are people of color. So she turned leprous, white as snow. Let's get Lamentations 5 and 10 to get the color of the real Jews. Lamentations 5 and verse 10. All right, so all the things that we're bringing out are facts that can be found in the Bible, exposing the lies that have been taught in society. It's imperative that our people come back to the truth of who they are. All right, because this is the heritage that the Lord gave us. You're not descended from Africans. That's why the Africans sold our people into slavery. Read Lamentations 5 and 10. Let's find out what the Jews, the Israelites, said about themselves in the Bible. Read.
Lamentations 5 and 10.
Go ahead.
Our skin was black like an oven.
Plain and simple. The Jews in the Bible say what? Our skin, I mean, it's not talking about their feelings or their emotions. Our skin complexion, we were black, dark like an oven. All right? Like how you have those big cast iron ovens down south that get dark and black when you cooking them. So it says our skin was black like an oven. That's in the Bible. Read.
Because of the terrible famine.
The reason it says because of the terrible famine is why? Because when so-called black people don't eat for a long extended period of time, when they starve, as in a famine means a lack of food, they tend to get darker. All right? You could ask any nurses that work in hospitals that see starving people. But for them to get darker, it shows that they had to be so-called black people before. When so-called white people don't eat for a long while, they starve, they start turning bluish and pale. They don't get darker. All right? Get Acts 13 and 1 now to further prove the color of the real Jews. The real Jews are people of color. All right? Acts 13 and 1.
Yeah, I like that one.
All right? So this is your heritage in the Bible. A lot of our people think the Bible is just a bunch of colorful stories, that the Bible doesn't have anything to do with our people. But you're going to find out that what? This whole Bible is the history book of the American Negroes, West Indians, and Hispanics. Read that.
Acts 13 and 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon.
Prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simeon, who's one of the disciples. And what was Simeon called?
That was called Niger.
Simeon was, this man Simeon was surnamed what?
Niger.
Surname Niger. Now, what does the word Niger mean? Now, what's popping up on your screen right now is an excerpt from the Compact Bible Dictionary, Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, which is a dictionary that gives definitions of words in the Bible, and showing there that the word Niger means black. Why was he called Niger, which means black? Because he was a so-called black man. He was a Jew, an Israelite. So showing that what? The real Jews are people of color. All right? That's your nationality. You're descended from great people like David and Solomon. All right? Prophets like Jeremiah and Isaiah. All right? One more. Let's get Acts 21:37 to further prove the color of the real Jews. That the real Jews are people of color. All right? And read that when you have it. Acts 21 and 37. Go ahead.
Acts 21 and 37.
Right.
And as Paul was to be led into the castle.
So now Paul was one of the most famous Israelites or Jews. Paul wrote the majority of the New Testament through the Spirit of Christ. All right. So now Paul, as Paul is to be led into the castle, go ahead.
He said unto the chief captain,
go ahead.
May I speak unto thee?
Go ahead.
Who said, canst thou speak Greek?
So now he asked the chief captain, look, let me have a word with you. And the chief captain was surprised. Hold on. You can speak Greek? Let's find out what Paul says. Go ahead.
Art not thou that Egyptian?
Now the Greek came out and spoke to Paul, this Jew, this Israelite, and said, aren't you that Egyptian? So he mistook Paul for an Egyptian. Once again, what color are the ancient Egyptians? So-called black people. For Paul, who is a Jew, to be mistaken for a so-called black Egyptian, he obviously had to be what color? Black. Yeah, that's obvious. But let's prove that Paul was a Jew. Just in case people don't believe us. Read on.
Which before these days made us an uproar and led us out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers.
Right. So he said, look, aren't you that Egyptian that did such and such? Let's find out what Paul said. He said what? Read.
But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew.
So now Paul came out and said, no, I'm not that black Egyptian, the so-called black Egyptian you're mistaking me for. I'm a man that is a Jew. Read on.
Of Tarsus, a city in Cilicia.
I was born in Tarsus, a city in Cilicia. Get Revelations 2 and 9. All right. And when you read the Bible, the Jews are the chosen people of the Heavenly Father. All right. But now the Lord put us, the real Jews, the real Israelites, the so-called American blacks, West Indians, Hispanics, and Native Indians in a low condition for breaking his laws. You want to know why as a people we have all the problems we have? Drugs in our neighborhoods, single-parent homes, our communities ravaged by disease, all right? Guns going off, people dying left around our communities. That's all part of the divine curse the Lord put on us for breaking his laws. And we're going to prove it out of the Bible. But now it's up to us to come back to the laws that we broke and keep these laws, not come back to religion. God isn't dealing with the churches and religions of today, all right? But we have to come back to these laws. And that's how the Lord is going to save our nation, all right? Revelations 2 and 9, come on.
Revelations 2 and 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty.
Right.
But thou art rich.
So now he starts off the scripture speaking to the real Jews. Our people do work hard. We are in tribulation. We do go through poverty. Read on. But we are rich, meaning in a spiritual sense. Read.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
Blasphemy. I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews. One of the definitions or aspects of blasphemy is lies. I know the blasphemy or of them that say they are Jews. Read.
And are not.
And are not. Now, what people on a large scale are saying that they're the Jews? All right, the so-called whites over there in Israel, New York, downtown, so on and so forth. All right, the Israelis saying that they're Jews, but are not. Why? Because we just proved in the Bible that the real Jews are people of color. It's the real nationality, the so-called American Negroes, West Indians, and Hispanics. But what are they if they're not the real Jews? Go ahead.
But are the synagogue of Satan.
But the Lord calls them the synagogue of Satan. Get Deuteronomy 28. We're going to prove who the real Jews are now. Because we just proved that, the real Jews are black. But then you can say, so what? There are many so-called black or dark-skinned nations on earth. Right? So let's prove that the so-called American Negroes, West Indians, and Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the real Jews. Because when you go into, we're told in this society that we're all totally different people. But in actuality, we're all the same people. We're all the Israelites, the real Jews. We're all descended from those people that came out of Egypt that were led by Moses when God said, let my people go, so on and so forth. And you're going to find out that the kingdom of heaven is for our people and our people only. We have a great heritage coming to us, but we have to come back to our nationality. Now, I stated before, the reason that we're in a low condition is because the Lord put a certain set of curses on us for breaking his biblical laws. Now,